Hello, Tricia.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Uh, Doing okay. I'm kind of stuck on one section though. I was kind of hoping we could talk a little bit before the meeting tonight. Um,
Oh,
on the project, section 9.3, 9.4.
yes.
I,
Well,
I
I don't even have to look at my rubric to know what the problem there is.
yeah, discussing the relationship between product differentiation and pricing plans, and then also the distribution and pricing plans.
Yeah.
I know where it should go, but I'm having a really hard time finding the research to back up what I think needs to happen.
Well, here's some things to think about there.
Okay.
The purpose of the rubric is to present certain learning objectives to the students and have them master those learning objectives. Sometimes you can overdo it. And so if you have an instructor that has some influence and their pet project or their pet part of something is, let's say, communication style, which you've already covered, or pricing, which you're struggling with right now, they can easily overdo that. The purpose of the learning objective that you should learn is that everything affects the price.
Right.
So if you decide to ship it overnight air rather than on sea cargo that takes 45 days to get there, that it's going to affect your price. If you decide to do all of your advertising on television versus doing it on Facebook, you're going to have an increase in price, and that's going to affect your the cost then to the customer. You've got a choice. Either take a lower profit or you pass it on to the customer. This is the same argument that's going on right now with tariffs. Trump made the statement, I hate to enter politics in, but he's such a wonderful example on these things. He made the statement the other day that money was just pouring in from custom fees. And if you go out and you look at the fact check website that they've done that, the fact is that's true. Money is pouring into those coffers because of tariffs. What is not true is that Donald Trump said makes you feel like all of that money is coming from these foreign countries, and it's making the playing field level because it's causing the price of those goods to go up. Well, the part that is not true is that all of this money that's coming into the coffers isn't coming from the foreign governments. It's coming from the companies that are importing those fees, and then they're turning around and passing them on to the consumer.
Right.
And so all of this stuff where people don't take the time to sit and think about it and say, gosh, I'm getting really messed over here by these tariffs. Instead of that, you've got the president smiling and saying, boy, I'm doing you a wonderful favor. When in fact what he's doing, and excuse my politics, in fact what he's taking the knife and just giving it to you right in the back and then giving it a twist. And then he's smiling while he's doing it. So he's telling you the truth that the money's pouring in, but he's leading you to believe that that's coming from these foreign countries, And it's not. It's coming out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we start talking about pricing, my personal feeling is the rubric's gone a little bit overboard here. It doesn't need to ask you, how is the cost of the packaging going to affect the price? How is the cost of the transportation going to affect the price? How is the cost of the warehouse going to affect the price? How's the cost of the media going to affect the price? All that they need to do is to ask one question, and that is give 2 examples or 3 examples of how different areas might affect the price of your product. And then you can pick some. You can say, well, if I do it overnight, it's going to cost me more than if I do it by sea. If I do it television, it's going to cost me more than this. And that's what you need to learn, Tricia, is that they've overdone it in that rubric and asked you to list or to think through each one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So my question in the last meeting was, why did we limit it to that? Why didn't we throw in media? Why didn't we throw in packaging? Why didn't we throw in executive bonuses? Why didn't we throw in that we've got 5 people on the night cleaning crew instead of 3 people on the night cleaning crew? You can overdo it. Mm-hmm. And if you've got Section 9, I'm sorry, but you just had to where you're going to have to overdo it. Now, I will tell you how I'm going to grade those sections.
Okay.
Don't waste a whole bunch of time on that thing. Just tell me the decisions that I make in this area are going to affect the cost. For example, boom, diddy, boom, boom, diddy, boom, and then move on to the next one. But I felt so bad when I saw what they had done to the rubric with the communication style. That used to have 2 subsections in it. Now it's got 6, I
Mm-hmm.
think. And the pricing used to have 1 subsection, maybe 2. And now it's either 5 or 6 that you've got. And they're asking you the same doggone thing in every one of them. They're just changing one of the words.
Right.
So now you got me on my soapbox and you got me all excited about it.
Sorry. So if I put in there, what I have right now is that since this is a new concept, there's going to be some research and development costs, which we need to take into account when we're considering that pricing.
Yes. And you could almost put the same thing in each one of the paragraphs, and you just change one of the words. Mm-hmm. That's what they've done with the questions. It's the same question, and they change one of the words, and you put in the same answer and change one of the words.
Okay, cool. Now the next thing...
It'll get me in trouble, but change it a little.
Okay. The next thing that I'm kind of struggling with is that's just a really big duh factor. And I'm having a...
Yeah.
It's kind of like duh. So I'm kind of having a difficult time finding a good source to use for citations. Is that something that's going to hurt us if I don't have a lot of citations when it's just this is something that everybody should know, so this is how it is?
Well,
so I need to kind of find something to back that up.
You're going to need to find something to back it up, but you can use the same source on all of them.
Okay.
So really the only thing you've got to do is to find a quote that says extemporaneous activities or varyings of cost in management decisions that are made
mm-hmm.
is going to affect the price of the product. And
okay.
then you can use that same quote all the way through. Because if they're going to answer the same question, you're going to answer it the same way. You know, do you want to go to the store? Yes. Are you sure you want to go to the store? Yes. You want to go to the store closest to you? Yes. Do you need to go to the store? Yes. Are you going to buy something if we go to the store? Yes. You know, don't ask me all those questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I really feel bad, Tricia. this is a college professor that's put that in there. And I've argued, and I finally just decided, like the Bible says, you're kicking against the pricks. Just, go and just do it, because I'm going to lose the argument. So
Okay.
anyway, I hope that helped.
It did. It helped a lot. I spent probably about 6 hours trying to research different things and average prices of R&D. I'm like, you can't really do that. You can't get.
You answer that and say, this is one of the dumbest questions that's ever been asked. You say the R&D on a can opener is so much different than the R&D on a new cancer drug or Alzheimer's disease drug. And you're asking me for the average? What do you want me to do? Add the two of them together and divide it by 2?
Right.
It just, I know you can tell that you really got me going on this.
Okay, so I don't feel so bad about being frustrated, stressed with it.
Yeah, don't be. I just don't want the students to be wasting time. And in a lot of these areas, that's exactly what they're asking you to do, is to waste your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like the first 2 projects, there was a lot more valuable research that we were able to do. With this one, I'm kind of struggling for the research, because a lot of it is these simple type of questions, like,
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Well, just keep in mind that what we're doing is we want you to learn general business concepts.
Mm-hmm.
General business concept here is that different factors have to be taken in, and they're going to affect your price.
Right.
And if you want to try to lower if you're shipping overnight right now, and you want to lower your price, then you ship 45 days in advance, and it'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
What that means then is, the only difference is that you've got to have a person with better skills and knowledge that's running your supply chain than you. If you're going to have a 45-day shipment, you're going to have somebody with those skills and abilities, and they're going to be much more important than if you have somebody that is shipping overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can rush into the office and say, oh my gosh, we're out of Wheaties, and you're only going to be out of Wheaties for 1 day or 2 days. Whereas if you're shipping by ship and you run out of Wheaties, it's going to be 2 months, but by the time that they pack it all, put it in, ship it in an ocean liner, put it on a truck, and freight it to your warehouse, and you get it on the shelves.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
So that's the concept that you need to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was, I don't remember which class it was, but where we did the CAPSIM project, that was a really, really big eye-opener in areas like that, where we had a business to run, and we had to make sure that we had all of the products in time, and different products had different time frames for shipping and things like that. It was.
Oh, I'll tell you, I was involved in supply chain for a while, not as one of the supply chain team, but as the Six Sigma black belt that was analyzing and looking at the system, the process, and what could change in the process. And I became pretty good friends. His name was Randy Beck, who was responsible for supply chain. And boy, we'd go out to lunch together, and I'd just say, boy, Randy, I wouldn't have your job for all the marijuana in California. I just, how do you go home at night and unwind?
Right. Yeah, I that's not the field that I'm looking to go into.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, in fact, my husband and I were just talking a little bit ago about, graduation's coming up. I got to kind of figure out what I want to be when I grow up. I said 3 areas I do not want to go into is finance and accounting, supply chain management, and analytics.
Well, those would have been three of my top. I don't want to have anything to do with it either. But I'm actually now starting to, in my old age, I'm starting to enjoy accounting. But statistics, analytics, and supply chain management,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm ever going to get to where I would look forward to that.
Or you want to do that? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'd be okay if I never saw another balance sheet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello,
David.
David.
How are you doing? I interrupted you, Trish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's good. I was just saying, not my area of expertise. And then I said hi to David. So.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, we got about 4 minutes. Let's hope everybody else shows up.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got a lot we've got to discuss as a team today. So I sure hope everybody shows up.
Are you available? Hold on just a second. I'll be right back with you guys. Yes,
Sure.
sir.
Hi, Camille.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
Just trying to stay warm.
Oh.
It looked so nice and beautiful this morning when I woke up and like clear blue sky, sun was shining, and I was like, oh yay, like maybe it's 50 degrees. And I checked the temperature, it was 19.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now would be a bad time to say it was 74 here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so jealous.
Come on down for a couple of weeks.
Yes, I will. Might take you up on that. I'll show up at your door. Hi, can I stay?
Yeah, 19 degrees I think is a bit chilly for me.
Yeah. Too much.
Yeah.
Hey, Camille.
Hi, Brother Johns.
And Kristen. Hello, Kristen.
Hi.
Hello.
I went to that old link. Like, I'm sure it's Monday and I'm sure it's 9 p.m., but here we go.
As long as you're having a good time, that's what counts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're at 2 minutes after, so I want to get going so that you guys have as much time as as you can. Let's see, let me fix this mute in just a second. Okay, there we go. And Nikki's with us. Hello, Nikki.
Sorry, guys.
There's a couple of things that I want to do first before we get started in this other one. I would like some good, honest feedback from you. Now, when I say honest feedback, a lot of the times, that's like somebody says, "Do you like my dress?" and it's really, really ugly. But you say, "Well, of course, isn't that a wonderful dress?" And what I need from you is some really honest feedback on this. Tell me what you think of the course. Are you learning the things that you think will be beneficial to you? Do you feel like you're getting good information? And one of the questions that you can either answer now or we'll come back and I'll go through and ask you is, if you were the instructor or the course developer, what would you do different with the course? So what's the good parts and what's the bad parts? And Tricia, we're going to start on the upper left-hand corner and go this way. So Tricia, David, Camille, Kristen, and Nikki.
All right, so I do think that I've learned a lot. I think it's a little bit group heavy. I feel like probably 80 to 90% of what I'm doing is group oriented versus individual learning, which I'm not a group person. So
Okay.
to be completely honest, I am not a fan of group projects at all. I understand why we need to do them, and I can see the point, but I think that the course is really skewed more towards group projects than individual projects. So I wish we had a little bit more individual projects, or individual work to do, I guess.
Now, do you still feel that, knowing that if the course was changed to do that would increase the individual amount of work that's done, would you still feel that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. David?
I think, kind of going along with Tricia, I think it's awesome. I'm actually learning a ton, not only of just like international things, but also like marketing and just business things, which is awesome. One thing I do think is not necessarily a negative, but a little something that's a little hard for me is like the meetings. I thought they were going to take about 10, 20, maybe 30 minutes each time. They take about an hour to 2 hours, an hour being the least, almost 2 hours on average. And so that's the one downside that I've seen from this, but everything else has been awesome. So
Okay, that's a good point. I would really encourage you to try to find some way. I will help you with that by talking faster and leaving you guys more time. But yeah, that's a very, I appreciate you bringing that out. Thank you. Kristen?
Okay, so I'm kind of in agreement with both of them. I think it has been beneficial. One thing, so I do like, one of my favorite parts is going through the learning module, like what we do on our own, and taking the quiz. That's kind of my more of my style of learning. I don't love the case studies. I don't feel like I learn that much when I read them, but I do learn a lot from reading people's comments and seeing what they have to say. I always feel like I'm going to answer wrong on my post, and then it's kind of nice to read what other people, either how they agree or don't agree. But they're good. I just am over case studies. I've done so many.
No, and that's great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
How about you? Yes.
Sorry. I've got like a horrible cold. Yeah, I do. I agree that it's been very educational. I also am not a big team person. So I mean my team's been lovely, so like I'm very thankful for them. But yeah, like I guess just the frequency and the duration of the meetings takes a lot of time. It's kind of like when I worked like in the corporate world, it's like this meeting could have been a memo kind of thing. So I think maybe if like I understand like the projects, I understand the need for them. I know that when you're working in a real world situation, you do have to rely on a lot of different departments and different teamwork. But I guess my suggestion is, can a lot of this like meeting stuff be done either via email or discussion board or something to where we don't have to align like 7 people's schedules in different time zones, you know what I mean? And especially when some people work, some people have like physical classes, some people have children, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just a lot of moving parts when if you were in a physical office, you would have that, you know what I mean? Like you could all go to the board room or whatever, you would have that time already built in. So that's probably my complaint, is that it's requiring us to like physically virtually meet when there's so many variables that it's darn near impossible to make it convenient for everyone.
Okay. How about the material? You feel like the material's beneficial to you and that it's something that is useful to you in, I'm assuming a lot of you are working or in business. Is it useful? Is it something that you think is going to be useful in the future?
Yeah, yes, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Camille?
Okay, so I think that I don't know, I kind of disagree with like what everyone said about the group stuff. I think that is like really beneficial, especially when I feel like in like the corporate world and everything, that's what like you're going to be doing is working in groups. But I do like see the difficulties and everything, and it is like hard to like do what Nikki's saying, like we're all like everywhere, and I think we've found a really good pattern so that like works for our group, and we've been blessed with like really good group members, but I could see how it would be really detrimental to our grade if we had people that like weren't as great. So that's how I like feel about the group stuff. I would say that my complaint, it would be that I like the case studies. I think they're good, but then they're like really long, and so I feel like sometimes I'm like reading this whole thing trying to like understand like what I'm picking out of it, and then like I get to the bottom and like that's like the section that I needed to read. So there's that, and then like with the week materials, there's like a lot there too, and then like the quizzes, like it's only a small portion. So I think like all of them are great, it's just a lot in each thing. So like I don't know how I would fix that. Same thing with our like group work. Like it would be great if that like this was the only thing that we had to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, this is those points that you've just kind of put together are some of the more vigorous discussions that we have in our teacher meetings when we do it, and it's how much of this do you have, and should we have more individual or should we have more group, and there's some really interesting discussions, and there's pros and cons on both sides, and you've kind of helped in summarizing a lot of those. I mean, because that's what we've seen is some pros and cons. So, Joshua, how do you think? What do you think?
Sorry, I missed the intro. I guess we're just saying what we like and dislike about the course.
Yeah, what I'm trying to do is we meet together as instructors, and we try to look at the needs of the students, and are we meeting the needs of the students? What can we do better? So where are the problems? Where are the opportunities for us? Those type of things.
Gotcha. I don't think I really have any different feedback than what's already been said. I agree with the length of the group meetings, but I feel like we're probably, I don't know if every group meets as long as we do. There may be some that meet shorter than we do, but
I can tell you, mentioned meeting an hour and a half to 2 hours. Those are long meetings.
Right.
It should be somewhere close to an hour. I will normally take about 20, 25 minutes, sometimes longer, but I try not to. And the rest of the time is for you to be able to put your stuff together and coordinate it. Other opportunities that you have are texting. If any of you, one of the most effective tools that's been out there is this Google Communities, not Google Hangouts, but Google Communities. But I've only run into 2 or 3 students that know how to set one of those up. You have to have a college degree to do that, I think. But this new Teams seems to be a lot easier, and that's another alternative that might cut down some of your time with your meetings as well.
Yeah, I think one thing that makes our meetings extra long is just the fact that we have 7 people on our team, and there's so many different opinions and people that have to give input that in and of itself kind of makes it longer. I know in some of my other classes where we have group projects, there's only 4 people on a team. And so that kind of adds to it, I think.
Well, let me address that one and tell you a little why. This is just for understanding purposes. The discussions, or I mean the rubric, is actually geared for 4 to 5 people. The problem is, what we found out was when we were putting 4 to 5 people in the groups, that 2 things were happening. One was that increased the workload for the members of the group. And number 2, and this was the one that hurt the most, was that people signed up for this class because it said introduction. And they thought, oh, that's a 101 class. I can squeeze that in my schedule. And then they take a look at the rubric and they go, oh my gosh, there's no way in the world that I can do this. And so then they drop out. And so then you've gone from a group with 5 people, and if you get, I had one group, I made the mistake. I don't normally assign married couples to the same group. But in this case, she had kept her maiden name, and I didn't know that they were married, and they wanted the same country and they wanted it at the same time. So I put them in the same group, and 2 weeks later, they both dropped the class. And that left 3 people to try to do the work on the thing. Then what happens is I have to go to another group, and I have to say, look, I know you've been here for 2 weeks. You've gotten comfortable with your group, and things are working really good. But I'm going to have to break you up and pull one of you apart or pull one of you out. And then they all scream, and they don't want to do that. So that's the reason that most of the instructors now are putting 7 in there. And this particular, and I don't know whether I've already told you guys this or not. I've been teaching for BYU now for almost 5 years. This is the best section that I've ever had. The grade point average of all the students in the class is higher, significantly higher, than any other class that I've ever had. And we've only had about 3 people drop out from the group. I used to get people that would write me and say, hey, Brother Johns, I'm on the waiting list. I'm number 5. What do you think I'm going to get into your class? And I could safely write back up. If you were number 7, I could safely write back and say, yeah, you've got a really good chance of that. Well, this semester I lied to 4 people because only 3 people on the waiting list got in. Everybody was in here and working well and participating well. And so you guys have been very fortunate in that. But I also understand the pros and the cons of having 7 people in the group versus 4 people in the group. And you bring up a good point. Any other comments that you've thought about while we've been going around? Anything that I can use to take back and try to improve the course? Okay, I have one more question for you. And again, I'm going to ask you, please be really, really honest. How many of you read the announcements that are posted?
I do.
Oh, that's more than I thought.
I read about half. I mean, like I skim over them a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that I'm just practicing my typing. I want you to know that I do put out probably more announcements, and I definitely have more group meetings, where I participate in the group meeting than the other instructors, but I do it to try to help you. And I know that there's been comments. It's really funny when I get my evaluations back. I've got 3 or 4 people that says, he tells us too much. We don't need that. We're not stupid, And then I got a bunch of people that write and say, boy, I'm glad that he explains things as well as he does, because then I know exactly what I'm supposed to put in the paper and do that. And I'm going, my gosh, it's damned if you do and I mean, it's you're in trouble if you do, and you're in trouble if you don't. So I want you to know I'm not trying to bore you to death. But I do know that some of you catch on quicker than others. But I want to be fair and give you all of the help and information you need to get an A. But and that comes back to the number of people in the group. By having 7, you're exposed to a smaller, because I'm going to guess that most of you don't go out and read all of the other students' sections, which is really what you should do. And when it comes to the time of the quiz, you're going to go, oh, why didn't I go and read this other stuff? But that's the reason that we have the things, and we've talked about both the pros and the cons, and I'm glad we did. That's a good discussion. Anything else that anybody wants to bring up? Okay, I appreciate your time, and I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and let you guys do whatever you do when I'm not here. So
Thanks for the time.
Have a good evening.
Sweet. I think, real quick, Brother John's doesn't take up too much time. I think we just need to set like a goal time to be done, just so we can like really strive to like get everything done that we need to in that time, if that makes sense. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah, and I think it would help too if we all came like a little bit more prepared reading, because sometimes I feel like we spend a lot of time even like going over what
we're supposed to do.
We're going to be doing, and that takes up a good chunk. Whereas if we all kind of already know all that, maybe we could just like divvy out our assignments. I don't know. That's just a thought.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think if we all take the time to read through the rubric and kind of know what needs to be done, then it would be a quick, okay, who wants this section? Who wants this section? And all right, we good? Good. Let's go.
Yep, I agree. So we'll have to do that next week, right? That's our new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Maybe like if anyone remembers like earlier before the meeting to like send out a text, be like, hey, remember to do that.
Hey guys, and I'm still not part of the group me. I have no idea how to.
Oh, it's because you're like in the beginning you didn't like respond, and so then it was like, oh, Nikki like hasn't responded. She's gonna stop receiving messages.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I don't think
That's what
I had
happened.
group me at first. I've got to try to figure out where it's at. Oh, okay, so yeah, like so I just got like I guess I didn't have the app. Like I think once upon a time I did. Because like we used it like in I don't know like a calling I had once upon a time. And then I got rid of it. So I do have it, but I don't know what to search for. Is like what's like the group name?
International Business Russia.
Will that just pull up, do you think?
Possibly. I could remove you from the group and then re-add you. Let me do that.
Okay.
That would probably work best, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like searching, and I think like unless like I've been invited, I can't find it. Like it won't.
Okay, I just added you. So you should be able to do that.
Okay, let's see here.
Was there anything else that we needed to talk about while she's doing that?
We need to decide on a team name, a product name.
Okay, so sorry, I didn't text you guys back. So yeah, we can do Solnechny bulba. So that's how, instead of like Solnce bulb, the like correct grammatical is Solnechny bulba. So I can send that.
Yeah, send that out so we have the spelling of that.
Sounds good. I like that plan. That name is good.
Great.
Okay, good. Next question I had, there's still some parts that aren't quite done, so I'm not sure exactly where we are as far as in agreement with our marketing thoughts, and also how we're going to do, how we're going to get it out to the group. Sorry, I've got a headache. My brain is not thinking right now. Basically, how we're going to deliver it to our consumers. Are we going to sell it online? Are we going to sell it in specific stores? I think we need to kind of come to a consensus with that really quick as well.
But I will let you know, I've been sick, but I'm currently typing up 9.1 and 9.2. So I will have it to you. I didn't get it as early today as I would have liked, but it's coming for you.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, we've still got a little bit of time, so I'm not overly stressed yet. Need to have an idea of what we're going to do. So Nikki and I were talking on Saturday, and we were thinking that we would sell within discount stores and like pharmaceutical chains, like their version of Walgreens, and then online. What do you guys think of that? I guess are kind of our three target areas.
Sounds good to me. Sounds great.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, you'll just have to like do, or whoever it is will have to do the research about like what kind of things, because it's not like they have a like pharmacy on every corner. It's like little tiny shops that are like leftover from like Soviet era.
Well, I did a Google, I don't remember whose section it is, but there's one that says what are the specific stores that you're going to sell in. I did a Google search just for Russian pharmacy chains, and it brought up a list of like 6 of them.
Perfect.
6 top chains. So I think that right there is a good starting point. And then I was also doing some research that said, let me pull it up real quick. Basically, the majority of Russians shop in discount stores and online. So that's kind of where I was getting that information. So does that sound okay to everybody?
Sounds great.
Okay. Do you guys want me to put the link for that article just in that section so you can look at it, or do you want to Google it on your own? Or
I think the link would be great.
who has?
Yeah, put it in there.
Okay, I'll stick it in there, and then you can look at it. And if you want to use it, use it. If not, then mind your own. So.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So looks like we've got 1, 2, 3 and 3 are done. Josh,
My section's not done yet.
okay. How's that?
I've been kind of having trouble, like, I don't know the best way to go about it other than just Googling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the best way to find out competitor products would be to be in Russia and just like go to the store and see what brands are in there and then trace it back to the manufacturer. But like, yeah, exactly. But I've just been Googling it. I don't know exactly like which companies are which, and there's just like way too many companies out there. Like I found a couple lists, but there's like 200 companies on it. So I'm like, oh geez.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at, right? It is just resident. So there's a bunch of LED light manufacturers, which I feel like LED lights can be in way too many. So
what if you just picked like the top like 3 that you see most often?
okay.
Because I think that would give him enough information. We were talking before about, I'm having some issues with research on mine too. And he's not looking for the same in-depth that we would do if we were doing an actual business. He just wants to see that we've got the concept down. Do you know how to find what competitors there are and what their weaknesses are and their strengths? So, I mean, maybe we can just go to Amazon.com.
Okay.
What lamps are out there? Because we're also in a good position that there is no specific product exactly like ours. This is a unique product. And so when they say competitor, our competitor isn't going to be exactly like we are, so we have a little bit of leeway in what we're looking at, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So would part of our competition be like the actual sun lamp?
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
So maybe you could just choose like a sun lamp company, Josh, and then like a light bulb company.
Well, I don't know if we even
Okay.
with light bulbs. Well, maybe.
Because then, I mean, maybe you could find just some sun lamp company that sells in Russia. I don't know if that would be easier to find. Just looking it up right now.
Competitors could maybe even include like other like health wellness things,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
like-
yeah, there's
like a
solutions
spada
for
or,
that.
like-
Okay.
Yeah. I would maybe like that would be less complicated.
Were you guys
What
looking
is that?
for competitors?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say I have a list, if that helps. Because I was looking at
A list
for
of
pricing.
companies?
I have a list of competitors, if that helps.
Yeah, that'll help.
Like honestly, like do you want to me to email them to you, or you want to write them down super fast?
Nikki, how about just
Either way is fine.
I'm sorry, what?
How about just copy paste them into the document?
Okay, or actually, I can even probably type them in this group chat right here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
and then as far as because I think Trish and I even mentioned this, as far as competitors on Saturday, anything that's like a sun lamp, the full spectrum bulbs, medication technically would be competitors, because people
Right.
treat depression with medication. So we might even want to touch on that. You could probably just Google SAD, seasonal affective disorder, depression medication, and it'd probably give you a list of a couple common ones. Yeah, and then I also whoever mentioned it about the health and wellness thing, just vitamins. People probably might go holistically and treat it with vitamins or green drinks or whatever. So
Okay.
Maybe
Thanks,
just
guys.
one from each of those groups. Say these are our primary types of competitors, and these are the
Okay.
Tea as well. They live off of tea,
yeah.
and tea solves all of their problems.
Yeah. And then I think once you have that, then it'll be a lot easier to get their weaknesses and vulnerabilities.
For sure.
So, okay, cool.
Okay. Thanks for the ideas.
Alrighty.
And then mine also, I was gonna ask for 6.2, it talks about the depth and breadth of our product line. I don't think we've talked a lot about that. Are we planning on, I don't know, expanding our product line? I don't quite know how we would do that.
I think in the beginning we need to have it be fairly narrow because it's such a new product. Just have just a few different types of light bulbs to meet the different types of lighting. You know, you need a light bulb that'll fit in track lighting, a light bulb that'll fit in recessed lighting, and a light bulb that'll fit in just.
So it'll be like more like a lot of sizes and. Okay.
Yeah. So and then in my final reflections paper last week, I put we'll start out with a narrow product line, and then as we enter the market and we get more of a market base, we can do more research to see if we need to expand that product line. But I think in the beginning it should probably be fairly narrow. So I don't know. Thoughts on that? Sorry guys, my computer keeps kicking me out. Okay, Tanner, how's your section coming? Is Tanner here? Tanner's not here.
Yeah, and the sound is kind of like.
Yeah, that would be good. Imitation.
Sound like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Like nodding and
I thought it was just me and the coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but it wasn't me. I was like, I can't hear.
Say that again.
Trisha, maybe can you just use like the group chat to type, and then that way we can hear what you're saying, because you're totally frozen. I don't know if you can even hear me now. Oh, there you are.
See if she responded.
Looks like it.
Okay.
Computer issues.
All the joys of online classes.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that we need to discuss as a group?
What? So Thursday, I feel bad. I did not realize till today I'm taking my kids to that Disney on Ice, and it starts at 7. Thursday.
Can we all come? I'm just kidding.
Sure. It's gonna be really fun. Anyway, so what will our meeting entail? Like, any ideas? I guess if we all do our parts, finish our parts, then we can discuss any questions anyone has or something.
Well, it looks like Trisha said someone needs to take 6-1. I don't know who had 6.
Yeah, I have 6.
Oh no, you have 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6-1.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that shouldn't be too bad. I'm a little bit worried about the advertisement. So I went to that website, but the pictures are kind of limited. Which, I mean, I can just do it on a PowerPoint and mostly just explain it. But, yeah, I don't know.
So here's, I had a thought. I know that, it has to be, within our group. But, my brother is an artist. That's, literally what he does. And I thought about asking him if he could, maybe do something. And I just don't know what Brother John would say that. But my thought was if we really needed to, contract out, that's what a business would do.
Right. We are using our sources.
So, I haven't even talked to my brother. I don't even know what he's got going on in his life at the moment. But I mean, Like if
Yeah.
we're like super duper stuck, I mean, I can maybe ask him and say, hey, like, did you draw up something? Or, I mean, because that's what his degree is in graphic design.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, it was just a fleeting thought I had today where I was like, oh, I should have asked him. But
If he like is willing to and has the time, then like I would totally appreciate it.
okay, I'll reach out to him.
And then if you want, you can give him like my email or my phone number or whatever, and I can tell him kind of like what I'm thinking and work with him a little bit on it.
Perfect.
How much does he make per
I'll,
hour? Maybe we can each pitch in like $2.
Oh, no, like starving artist. No, he actually just graduated. And he's like, I know, well, I mean, he does like freelance work in production, but like, I know that he's probably just sitting on my parents' couch trying to find a job. So
Cool.
he could probably use the busy work.
Yeah, and
So
then
I'll
he can
definitely,
use it for like his portfolio. Yeah.
So true. Okay, and then so just your personal email or your Gmail, or not Gmail, I'm sorry, your BYUI email.
If you could do my Gmail, that would be awesome.
Gmail, okay. Yeah, I'll just text him because he keeps late out. He's in Colorado, so they're at the same time frame as us. So like I'm sure he's still up, and I'll ask him. And if he's on board, then I'll just give him some of your contact information, and yeah, because it's pretty creative that way.
Yeah, that would be really helpful and great.
Yeah, I'm like, I definitely did not get that gene, so I don't know where he got it from, but he's super creative.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Trisha,
yeah, so is that the 6.1, or do we still need to figure that part out?
No, 6.1 is just basically like just needs what Trisha said in the chat. Like someone just needs to like type it up, so I can do that. Like it's all stuff. Like it's nothing new necessarily. I just have to explain like why we chose the name and the brand positioning.
Okay, good job. Perfect. And then, like I told Trisha, I'm like currently typing because like I already did like the 2.1, 2.2, but I'm trying to get the 9 done right now. So hopefully, and we just have to have, is it due Thursday? Where like maybe I'm off a week.
I think it's due Saturday.
Okay. All right, perfect. Yeah, so I'll definitely get it like in today, tonight, if not super duper first thing in the morning. Like I know I'll have for sure at least 9.1 done tonight, and I'm hoping to.
Yeah.
So Trisha says that we need to have it done by Thursday so they can get that editing done. So.
Yeah, I will for sure. Yeah, for sure. And then yes, I will text him right now, like the minute we got the meeting, and have a solid answer.
Cool. Awesome.
And if for some reason he can't, like I'll definitely let you know, like you stuff.
Yeah, and if anything, then it's just going to be like not super pretty, you know, like it's just going to be a lot of explaining.
That's fine. Like literally better than I could do. Like I can't even do stick figures, so we're good.
I don't think he's looking for a professional, so
Yeah.
he should be okay.
I think it's just like my perfectionist, like I don't know, I would like want to like make it look nice and everything, but
Well,
yeah.
I loved our last PowerPoint. Like that was amazing. So
Thank you. All right, cool. So I'll take 6.1 and then we'll all have it done before Thursday. Cool. Then are we all good?
I think so.
I'm good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I think so.
Sweet.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Record time.
good night.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.